inside Jeff Bezos' $175 million home. At this point, who doesn't know who Jeff Bezos is? The former richest person in the world, founder and former CEO of Amazon, and Mackenzie Scott's ex-husband. Suffice to say, Bezos doesn't need much of an intro these days. What you might not have known, but won't exactly shock you, is that the man worth $168 billion has multiple properties all around the United States. He's got an $80 million penthouse in New York, a $23 million mansion in Washington, D.C. He even owns a 165,000-acre ranch in Texas. All that Amazon money was clearly going somewhere after all. This time, though, we'll be taking a tour through Bezos' $175 million Beverly Hills estate. Why, you ask? I mean, just look at the place. It's gorgeous. And I don't know about you, but I'd like to know more about the house my compulsive Amazon shopping helped finance.
What's not to love? You order the groceries online and we deliver them to your door.
Bezos' 9-acre palatial estate, believe it or not, didn't just spawn out of nowhere. This home is, in fact, a piece of Hollywood history, making it quite fancy for a home that's almost 100 years old. It was built in 1930 for Warner Brothers co-founder Jack Warner, and back then, this place was a party hotspot, hosting celebrities and Hollywood heavyweights alike. Trust me, Bezos doesn't party like he did back in the day. Back then, this place was literally known as the Party Palace. It has hosted wealthy and famous people like Jimmy Stewart, Aubrey Hepburn, Howard Hughes, and even Albert Einstein was invited to the mansion. All work and no play, am I right? Jeff Bezos purchased the place back in February 2020 from other billionaire David Geffen for $165 million. Geffen himself had gotten the property back in the 90s and had reportedly spent $45 million renovating the place. $20 million of that was apparently spent on landscaping alone. It's a real shocker Geffen chose to sell the place. If I drop that kind of money renovating a place, you best believe I'm getting buried there. Just a couple years later after Bezos' purchase, the place is already worth $10 million more. Any idea how and why that happened? Please let me know in the comments. And stick around, because we might just find out if I should abandon my dreams of owning this place when Bezos is done with it. Exterior. So how about a tour of this majestic estate? Tell me, what would you consider the most eye-catching part of this 9-acre estate? The beautiful foliage, the nice fountain set in the middle of the compound, or maybe, just maybe, it's the 13,000 square foot mega mansion that really ties the place together. Oh, this mansion isn't just big. And I don't say this about blocks of concrete and paint very often, but this building is pretty damn eye-catching too, especially those nice, thick pillars out front. The architect's choice to adopt a Georgian style design really gives this home a nice regal feel. Looking at it from the front, you'd almost think you were looking at the White House. As for the other, slightly less eye-catching, but just as amazing parts of this compound, just driving into this home has you going down a lovely sycamore-lined driveway, with luscious greenery on the outside and luscious greenery on the inside. I kid you not, the amazing aesthetics of this place are so powerful, it makes the entire neighborhood more beautiful. If I haven't already made it abundantly clear, this compound is massive. There's plenty of space for parking. Yet the architects took it upon themselves to fit as much as they could in here. And yes, it's covered with the kind of lawn you'd need to hire a whole army of gardeners for. Amenities. Other than the nice, picturesque fountain I mentioned earlier, you can find 2 ponds, and not 1, not 2, but 3 greenhouses here. You can't tell me someone has that many greenhouses on their property, and they're not a supervillain. I've seen more than enough movies. Thankfully, Bezos' greenhouse does seem to be filled with expensive flowers and exotic plants, for now. There's also a massive outdoor pool. Frankly, if there wasn't one, I'd be very disappointed at Bezos for buying the place. Pools are about as standard as doorknobs in these mega mansions. When Bezos is looking to beat the heat, he can just take a nice, relaxing dip in the pool. And when he's looking to beat the cold, then he just takes a dip in the hot tub, all conveniently placed behind one of the guest houses. That's right, I forgot to mention that this place also comes with 2 guest houses, truly the mansion for massive weekend-long parties. This home was the Party Palace after all. Some historians even believe that Marilyn Monroe stayed in one of the guest houses back in the day. A bar and a pool won't always be enough to entertain your guests, though. Sometimes and you want to work up a sweat and absolutely demolish your guests at a sport of your choosing, don't worry, this estate has you covered. There's a lawn tennis court on this property, and an entire 9-hole golf course as well. How do they fit all of this into one property and still have enough space for a motor court as well? No idea. Architectural magic? Or is 9 acres just way bigger than I thought? By the way, even the motor court couldn't just settle for being an ordinary garage. It can hold over 6 cars, meaning Bezos can fit all his favorite luxury cars in here, like his Bugatti Veyron, his Cadillac Escalade, and of course, his classic 1997 Honda Accord. And it comes with a service garage and gas pump. What a home. Interior. Past that beautiful lawn, though, is the inside of the massive centerpiece of this estate. The mansion that might just get me indicted for impersonating Jeff Bezos, although it may be a little difficult to get down that laugh of his. Like I mentioned earlier, this massive house covers about 13,000 square feet of living space. It features 8 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, a dining room large enough to fit 14 people, and a large fireplace. Granted, this mansion might not be the largest home Bezos owns, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in elegance. And yes, that lovely Georgian architecture is on the inside as well. No worries there. I mean, just walking inside this home will get you slapped in the face with its majesty. The first thing you'll lay your eyes on will be a massive 2-story entrance hall, a cantilevered staircase that leads to the upper part of the mansion, and a beautiful cut glass chandelier that really ties the high-end wood flooring together. When you aren't admiring the aesthetic beauty of this mansion, there are plenty of things to do, and amenities scattered around the place. You don't drop $165 million on a mansion that can't keep you a little entertained, now do you? The mansion comes with an expansive, well-stocked bar, and I know what you're thinking, that's all you need, right? Well, the designers thought otherwise. The mansion also comes with a screening room, a library, and a sunroom for when you're ready to go full Scrooge and transition into a proper reclusive billionaire nobody sees during the daytime. Bezos likes it big. If you couldn't tell from the size of this place and the sheer amount of stuff squeezed into it, it's pretty clear that Bezos likes it big. And by it, I'm talking about his properties. You could say he has a passion for getting large things and making them even larger. And just like the man himself says, you do need to follow your passions. What is that? Is that the sound of you disagreeing with me? Well, get this. Not only does Bezos own a 165,000-acre ranch, a piece of property so massive it doubles as a summer camp for his family, and a launch site for Blue Origin, Bezos' rocket space flight company. There was the time he turned a 100-year-old textile mill into a $23 million home, which of course included the original home and the building next to it, combining both of them to create a massive 34,000 square foot home. He spent about $12 million and 3 years renovating the whole place to achieve his perfect massive mansion, and then promptly partied in it. As for his New York penthouse, he did pretty much the same thing. When he purchased the place, he went ahead and purchased 2 more floors so he could turn it into an $80 million 3-level penthouse covering 16,000 square feet. And of course, you know he went ahead and did the same thing to his Beverly Hills estate. He purchased the adjacent property next to his $165 million home for the much lower price of $10 million. Now, it might not be as huge as the main home, but even this place is a bit of Hollywood history. Honestly, can't take 2 steps without tripping over Hollywood history in Beverly Hills, I tell you. The smaller estate is on Tropical Avenue and was built in the 1930s as well. It comes with a home that features 3 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, and 6 fireplaces, which might just be the most bizarre ratio I've ever heard of. The estate, much like its larger neighbor, also has a nice courtyard, a rose garden, a vegetable garden, and an all-in-all beautiful lawn, but no greenhouse, which might explain why Bezos didn't buy this place first. If you still think Bezos doesn't like it big, let's not forget this is the same man that owns a $500 million, 417-foot-long monstrosity of a yacht nicknamed Project Y721. A yacht so massive, it uses another, smaller yacht as a support vessel. So yeah, I think I might be onto something when I say he prefers his living space to be slightly above average in size. This right here is the home of the former richest person in the world. So which part of it was your favorite? If you made it this far, you clearly loved this video. Why don't you click on one of the videos on the screen right now?